Hey, what's up everybody? Tony Rvitia. My favorite and kind of most stressful day of the week is whenever the RVs go out, because there's just so much shit that can go wrong with an RV. And I finally found a good guy who can kind of handle it and drive it. I mean, I hate driving that thing. Let's see, what was I going to go over? I was going to go over the biggest thing I get with this is taking care of these customers. I don't know what it is everybody expects like the Taj Mahal or the Ritz-Carlton. I think so many people are used to staying at hotels, and the people that can afford to rent an RV are used to staying in like Marriott hotels or Hilton hotels or different big places like that. And so when they rent the RV, they think everything should be working tip-top shape. They don't really here she goes. All right, it always freaks me out. I have these two posts right there, and I always think somebody's gonna hit it because he did one time, but I thought it was usually me. Anyways, so they think everything should be working properly. So I've come up with like a 3-step inspection process. I inspect it once, like right when it gets back. I have the cleaning lady, when she does it, I have her inspect it. Then I have him inspect it when he goes to like dump the tanks or after he washes it. And then I also do like 1 or 2 more inspections before it leaves, because inevitably I always find something wrong. The cleaning ladies, even though they're professional and stuff, they always miss little things, and those are the little things that people are going to see. So my thing is I would check it like 3 or 4 times, unless you have like a super small RV. But if you have one of these big ones, there's so many moving parts, there's so many things. I always find stuff wrong. Like a lot of times they'll swivel the captain chairs around and the little things underneath get pulled out. I mean, they've broken like the slide outs, all the front parts. They've broken like the coat hangers where you hang the coats. I mean, they break the blinds all the time. I mean, everything in there, and there's so many different things you got to take care of the main stuff. I've had like 2 or 3 air mattresses go through that bad boy. I don't know why those get punctured so much. Let's see, what the best thing I ever did was through Wheelbase or whatever, is I signed up anybody, even if I book them on a different platform, I go onto my Wheelbase account and I buy the what do you call it, the roadside assistance thing, so they get the 24/7 tech help. Because the shitty, the not best part of the RV rental process is having to handle all these customer complaints and calls, because they expect you to be around 24 hours a day. So I found another place that does answer the phone for a relatively low amount. It's called Reception HQ. And they have people that answer the phone 24 hours a day. And they have like one package where they'll just answer it and then just send you a text or email. It's pretty reasonable, like $50 or $80 a month. And I like to put a buffer between me and the RV renter, because if they always think they're talking to the owner, they're always trying to get a deal. They're always trying to get money back, and you cannot give any money back on these things. You cannot give discounts. You really can't give refunds a lot, because so much stuff is going to break that, I was just looking at the books, and yeah, it brought in a lot. Like that one brought in like 55,000 last year, but I don't even know. The profit was relatively small for the amount. Thank God my other business makes a ton of money. And excuse me, and I get to write all the expenses off of the RV onto that, so it ends up being pretty good for me. 20-30 grand net in my pocket because of the tax deductions. But if you didn't need the tax deductions, so you got to watch the margins on these things. So my main thing is, and you got to keep the customers happy, which seems to be, just really hard. I don't know. It's very frustrating. I don't know if it's because it's the coronavirus year, but everybody just, and like even on my last rental, nothing broke. Nothing, finally. And because usually something breaks, but it's their fault. I've only had maybe 1 or 2 times where it was something that it just broke because maybe wear and tear or whatever. But 95% of everything that breaks is usually their fault. But they don't see it that way. They see it as it's your fault and you need to fix it right away. Because so what I have them do now, if something breaks, I say, okay, you're authorized up to $200 to get it fixed from a mobile mechanic. And then since I bought them that policy through Wheelbase, it's like the CoachNet. I think it's the CoachNet policy. And then they have 24/7 RV mechanics. They have a trip planner person that can get them into campgrounds and whatnot. And then they also have, you know, obviously roadside assistance. The big one is the technical help though, because it's something, you know, these people will call you at 8, 10 o'clock at night, 11, 1, I mean, whatever. And they expect you to answer them back within 2 minutes, or you're like the worst host ever. So I got that 24/7 technical. That has taken a lot of pressure off our plate, because if anything goes wrong or whatever, they can have those guys all the time on their phone, and they're used to answering, you know, questions from these people. And they can walk them through a heck of a lot better than me. I don't even know how to use the friggin' thing half the time. So I'm learning just as the new person would. So I want them to have professional help or someone. So having that policy makes it awesome for them to be able to call somebody. And then if they can't fix it and it's something else, they will refer them to a mobile mechanic in whatever area they're in. So they have like arrangements everywhere, all around the country, especially in these RV places where they'll refer them to a mobile mechanic. And then that people have tried to pull this on me like 3 or 4 times. They'll say something broke, and then they'll take a picture of it, or they'll call and complain. Like these one people are like, no, the drains in both showers don't work, and they're like, this is unacceptable, both shower drains don't work, or yada yada. And they're like yelling at us and my staff and whatnot. And then I even texted my mechanic guy, and he's like, the only way that could even happen is if the gray tanks are full. And I was like, well, they said that they dumped the gray tanks or whatever. And then so I told him, I was like, so we'll call a mobile mechanic to come out and fix the drains, because it seems weird that both drains in the RV happen to you know, plug up at the same time. And so they called the mobile mechanic, and then I said, oh, and then they tried to just send me a picture of the bill, like the receipt for the amount. Like it doesn't say anything on there what they did, doesn't have the invoice of what they did, nothing like that. And I said, okay, we will reimburse you up to $200, provided it's something that went wrong, you know, with the RV. And once we speak to the mechanic. And then all of a sudden they were quiet about it, and then they tried to submit it again at the end with just the receipt part. And so I called the mobile mechanic, and the guy, and I was like, so what actually happened? I was like, were the tanks full? He's like, well, I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but when I got there, the hoses weren't hooked up for the black and the gray tank. And I'm like, so you had to drain the black and the gray tank? And he's like, well, yeah. He's like, yeah, because they were full. And so these people, and then I'll bet you $1 million. The mechanic told him, well, your black and your gray tank are full. You have to, you know, drain them when you have 7 people using it for 3 days straight. So, and I mean, I send the people a video of the entire walkthrough we got when we purchased it. I send people an hour-long video on how to drive an RV. We send like 6 pages in our contract that goes over the black tank, the jump, how to do this, how to do that. We have a manual. We have, you know, I don't know what more you could have. You know, the owner's manual's in there, you know, but still, they just don't want to pay for anything. So my recommendation is, if you have people complaining or things like that, one, get a service like Reception HQ or Ruby HQ where they can answer the phone, put a buffer between you and the guest, run it like a business. Because these people, I see people on the RV Share and Outdoorsy Facebook group all the time. People are having them run an hour, 2 hours, 2 states, 1 state, driving them crazy, you know, doing all this and that. It's not worth the little bit of profit you do make. So put a buffer between you and the guests. You know, try to have everything tip-top shape, you know, before it goes out. Obviously that causes least amount of problems, is making sure everything works ahead of time. And then I have tricks in there for the most common things that happen, like they always blow the fuses, or they always blow the hot water tank fuse. So I have those in there, what to do if that happens, so they can fix it themselves. Then we have the 24 answering service, and we got the service that the people can call. Because if you're going to start getting more than 2 of these, you're gonna need things like that, or it's going to run you ragged. And then find good people that can help you with this. Like find good handyman or good car wash guy, or somebody that can fix it for cheap. Because, you know, paying RV mechanics is just not feasible. So I found most everything you can find a handyman to do pretty reasonable. And then major things, I get like found a good RV mechanic. I found one in Vegas. He only charges $100 an hour, and he ran a rental company with like 60 of them. So he's been great since I got him on board. So the fine tuning the process, you know, try to make the customers as happy as possible. And then here's the thing my wife says, she's like, quit stressing yourself out. It's there's always something wrong, and it's 95% of the time it's the renter's fault. So don't take it so serious. Find out what they're doing first, and then if it is broken, tell them to call the mobile mechanic and have them fix it, or you can call them yourself, obviously. Sometimes we'll do that, but usually it's something they break. So if they need to break it, then when they call the technical assistants, they'll refer them, and then they can get it scheduled, and you know, get it scheduled with the mobile mechanic, tell them where they're at and things, and you know, get that done so they can tell them what park they're at, you know, schedule it so the guy can get out there accordingly. So that's just my thought for the day. I'm rolling through the RV rental process, so I just want to do a quick video on some things I learned, hopefully pass it along, and you guys can, you know, help with your businesses. And then I came up with a form where I tell them there is no discounts or refunds if things break, because it's an RV, things are going to break. And that's why I don't use it, because I know I'll break everything in it or my family. So no, but you gotta be on top of these, you know, things, or else it will make the business not that fun for you, because you're handling all these complaints. And it seems like people always have something to complain about, even the times where it's went out and nothing's went wrong with the rig. Then they said, oh, the fridge didn't get cold enough. Well, I mean, you know, and then I said, well, send us a picture of how much meat you have in the fridge, because it only holds so much. And, you know, and lo and behold, we never got that picture. So you got to, you know, just stay on top of this, or else people nickel and dime you to death. And, you know, you give too many discounts or what, you're not really making any money, and then it's all for nothing. But all right, God bless you guys. Let me know if you have any questions or anything you want me to go over. All right, take care.